Hello. Yeah, we're going to talk about Linux here. And this Linux we're going to talk about is programs and processes here. So what is the programs here and process here? Basically, it's talking about Linux distribution plus application plus platform. So you can use to design your customized programs and applications here. So let's go. It's like a packaging deal here, meaning you need to have a platform, you need to have a distribution, you need to have application and process to make your own programs here. So here they have some principles. How are you going to make it here? Yeah. Each package is single file here. So that's the definition for the package here. A simple file here that can keep something can be transmitted over internet. We all know that internet is very, very important here. If your information cannot be transmitted over internet, and Linux is actually Linux internet based here. Have you ever heard that people say that without Linux there will not be Google? All the files belong to some companies here, and Google have that GNU, that license here, say it's owned by no one here, no one going to make money, no one going to pay money for that here. With that kind of concept here, then the Google is possible for you to search for something. Talking about, unlike Windows here, Linux is always against Linux here, Windows here. Windows, Linux here. So if you want to understand Linux and you have some difficulty, you may compare and contrast Linux with Windows. Windows basically Microsoft software here. You're waiting on Microsoft, you rely on Microsoft to change, keep everything correct for you. And Linux here, you can handle, you are going to be responsible for that yourself here. Yeah, they have some dependency information here, meaning if you're using this file here, based on the platform you have, based on the software you have, application you have here, you need to have all. And they have version information. There are many, many versions of Linux here, like UCLA, USC, they both have their version here. And version is version distribution. Yeah, you can use any distribution you like or create your own distribution. The Linux is written in C language and assembly language here. If you know C language, assembly language, which I happened to learn before, that was long time ago when the school still teach you C language and assembly language. I'm talking about like almost 40 years ago. Talking about CPU type, of course, you guys know that it's very, very old CPU. 86 CPU here, very, very old CPU. So Linux is very, very old idea here, and until today it still works just fine here. Package here, they even use the binary package here. No fancy stuff for Linux here, just purely works here. Understand the package system here. So what is the package system here? So we can take a look here, and yeah, Debian here, that's a different pronunciation. That's one original pronunciation, say Debian here. Debian here, that's a system here, many people use it here. We use that to teach Linux before, and we are using the Fedora to teach right now here. So you can see here. Now, number one here, you issue a command to install a program. Of course, you want to install a distribution. There is a whole set of process for you to do that. My suggestion is, if you have a computer, you're not using it all, then install Linux here. For your working computer with Windows, if you're trying to also load Linux, then you have both operating systems in one computer. In theory, that works. In reality, it's going to be difficult. If you are going to be difficult, so I would not suggest you to do that. You may ruin all you have in the computer here. And also, computer nowadays is not expensive at all here. Use a second computer to install Linux here, your main computer to still keep that Windows there here. That's the best suggestion I can give to you. So they have software here, software package you can install here. Again, that's Linux here, that's still free. That's the beauty. And for Linux, number one, it's free. Number two, you have fully control, meaning you can change the Fedora here. Fedora here is another distribution, or you say package system here we are using to teach Linux here. We use Debian and Fedora both. Talking about Red Hat here, that's another one. Red Hat, Fedora here, and they have a CentOS. Whoa, I actually have used CentOS and Fedora and Red Hat to teach Linux class here. So those three are most widely used here. As a school here, we should teach students not necessarily the best, but the most widely used software, hardware, platform applications. In this case, once a student graduate here, they find a job, they can use the info right away. They are ready for the industry here. You see they have GUI version here or CLI version. We talked about GUI and CLI before. GUI is GUI, CLI is command line interface here. In the Linux world here, it's pretty much similar to Cisco. More people just use CLI. Even they have GUI version, they don't really use it here, like Red Hat. Red Hat have CLI version and GUI application both. And if you are going back to Cisco world here, since many students are working on Cisco certificates here. Cisco, you're going to configure a router. What can you do? You can use a command line interface to do that. You can also use GUI to do that here. But most teachers, students, we still use the original CLI, command line interface. So you don't want to think GUI has totally replaced command line interface. No, that's not the case. Not in Linux, not in Cisco routers configuration, not in DOS command. Your PC still have DOS command, and that's disk operating system. The very first operating system of PC is very useful, it's very powerful. They are still using that. Again, giving you three examples: the DOS command, the Cisco router configuration, in Linux GUI here. You will note that here they are very powerful here, so meaning you can do a lot of stuff here and you can make lots of damage here. That's, if you want to say that's pros and cons here, yes, that's pros and cons. Because when I talk about Linux, hey, I say free, you have fully control. You say, oh, too good to be true. No, wait on here. If you don't know what you're doing here, try not to touch Linux. You may damage the system here. They show you some YUM install those, how to install YUM. You say, hey, I have no clue. I don't know what's YUM. Very simple here. You type in man, M-A-N, that's short for menu, YUM, they describe. So Linux, they have online menu. You don't need to Google, search for the menu here. Under the Linux environment here, you type in the man and the command name. They show you all you need to know. The Debian here, that's different, a pronunciation. Again, I'm sorry here. That's one pronunciation here, and that's the basic package system here, and that's used a lot here. We use that for one term and it works just fine here. If you're using this one here, you use this command here, apt-get install SABA here, then that's very simple. But in that's what I'm saying, that if you have an old computer, you're not used at all here, install Linux. It's very simple. If you have going to install Linux to the computer, already have Windows here, you're going to split here. In theory, that's very easy. In reality, may not work. They show you the diagram here, show you init, login, bash, ls. You are going to list like ps here, and vi here. Vi is the editor here. Vi is most widely used vi editor. I used vi editor for a company for my first job. That was like 30 years ago here. I mean, still work. Same command, everything is the same. 30 years ago, you learned something about vi. Today, you can still apply. That's the beauty of Linux. Not like Windows here. Windows, they have different versions here, different command here. You know, the old Windows you learn probably going to confuse you because they keep changing. Using the PS here to print out and show you what you have here. See here? That's what you see. They even have a time and day here. And use the subcommand, or we call parameter here. That's the command here, PS here, -U here, subcommand. So what do you want to see with this command here? They show you. And again, use the PS AX here to see the graph here, get it here. There's different command here. Command for Linux here, you just type in man the command, then you understand. You don't need to like memorize. Of course, after you type several times here and you play with it for several times, you memorize the command just by nature here, I guess. Using tab to identify the process here, see here. So very easy command name Linux since first. And they don't change their command name here. So tab, you type in tab, they'll show you what you have here. The tab command shows system summary information here. So it's very simple here. And here are the commands, tab command. Using the tab here and H, tab K, tab Q, tab -R, tab -S, tab -P, tab -M here. They show you all the different stuff. This is in the textbook, but you don't need to use the textbook. You go to there, you type in man, M-A-N, space T-O-P. They show you all this information in more detail. And I suggest you not really read this textbook, but read the manual here. That's real stuff here. Because this one are supposed to be a concise version from the manual here. It may make some mistake here. And in the industry here, so since you have the original command, you have an original manual, why you want to use like a second-hand manual? This doesn't make a lot of sense here. So, but this is a good starting point. They describe here, say the manual, they don't really describe what is that and why is that here. And here they have some description here to get you started. Measuring memory use. We all know that memory use, if you are using all of your memory here, you can do nothing here. You need more memory here. So they're going to show you, hey, it's very simple command here, type in free here. They show you the total command they used, the total memory here, used memory here, free memory here. Then you know. Yeah. Linux command is very easy. We just saw that tab, the free. They also have some funny name like who am I, where am I? Try that. Type in who am I, or just type in short, type in who, type in where. See what Linux can going to tell you here. And they have some important log file here. Sure, they log all the things you have done here. That's very important, especially when more than one person dealing with Linux. You want to see a previous person has done what here, so you can continue here. So that's, they have log here, information, and you want to see the log here. So tail here, say space /var/log/majors show you the last 10 lines of the files here. Yeah. And they also, if you type in HI, remember the history here, they show you the previous command. Then you don't need to retype the command, just like find a command and enter. That will work here. Creating log files, that's very important. And they show you how to do that here. Produce a log file entry, a kernel here, read buffer here. You want to see, yeah, this is a very important command here. DMESG here. Remember that's in our midterm. Yeah, we show you what is this command, what this command can do here. So again here, this is a very good book here. Read the books, then you can earn more here. If you purely just enter the command without reading, that's not a good idea. See here, they show you this command. So you want to figure it out. What does this command mean? They describe in here, try to tell you the theory here. You really need to know some theories, some concept, not only I am a hands-on guy here, so I type in the command and you want me to do it, I can do it. But if you want me to explain what I have done to you, well, then company may not be able to promote you as a leader, manager here, or even a senior engineer, because you need to teach the junior engineer, and they don't want you to say that. Just type in the command here. No questions asked here. There are some reasons for you when and why you type in this command and what are you expected to get here. You need to be able to, number one, know it. Number two, to communicate with other people here. They have two suggested exercise here we're going to do here. Yeah. And based on that, we're coming back here. That's your chapter 9. And here we have something I have presented a long time ago. Yeah, and this genome stuff here to show you. And that's a screenshot. That's my presentation long time ago here, and show you the workspace here. See, you can see here, it's GUI based here. You can click in here, click in that here. That's totally GUI based information here. And another desktop environment here, KDE here. And in here, oh, that's comparing to Windows. Yeah, X Windows, that's non-proprietary Windows here. That's similar to Windows but non-proprietary. Proprietary means belongs to a company. So this is not belong to a company. Then that's a window. They use the X Windows, similar to Windows here. That's a system. Again, Linux was coming out because of the drawbacks here of Windows. So people want to use a better operating system here, create a better operating system here, and all the users use it here, don't need to pay, can change and keep changing, put it back under the cloud, which is internet here. Then we have better and better here. So I mean, that's the volunteer base here. Nobody get paid here. That's not your full-time job. If you are good nowadays, it's not too late. You still can go to the internet, find a distribution you like, change it, and put your name there. Put your name it here, put it back to the crowd, and other people can use it, but you cannot make any money out of it. You cannot sell it. Say, hey, that's mine, I'm going to sell it here. No, that's not Linux here. Linux is free and contributed by everyone here, used by everyone here for free. Free here means two meanings. Number one, they don't cost you any money. Number two, you can change the code in here. Let's also check this one here. And this one here, see here. So this gentleman tried to explain this different term here to you. See, let's view a little bit, see if we can learn from this video.
They're saying I shouldn't call it Linux, I should call it GNU/Linux or GNU plus Linux, because Linux is just a kernel. So I want to ask the question today, is Linux a kernel or an operating system, or is it both? Or another way I could say it is, should you call it Linux or GNU/Linux? Well, whichever way you put the question, please let me explain. Okay, so I want to tackle this in two ways. First, we're going to look at the English language, about how we use the English language, and then let's look at some of the technical things to do with Linux and to do with the GNU project and so on. Now, one of the strengths and maybe one of the weaknesses of the English language is that you can turn nouns into verbs. For example, you might say, I'm going to Google something, and that's a verb, to Google. But actually, Google is a company, it's a noun. What we really mean is I'm going to search for something using Google's search engine. Now, of course, English professors probably hate this kind of thing, but we do it all the time. Please pass me a Kleenex. Actually, what you mean is, can you please pass me a paper tissue? You might say, I'm going to go and play ping pong. Well, actually, it's table tennis, and ping pong is a...
Yeah, I'm going to stop here because it turned out to be an English lesson here. Well, my suggestion here, yeah, we have textbook here. I also want you to Google under the YouTube to see some video here that will help you to learn, like this one, a little bit funny here, talking about the terms here. But that's GNU Linux here, still help you to learn the terms here. So it's not a bad idea. Well, that's all I would like to share with you for today. We have talked about chapter 9 for our textbook here. Hey, I'll see you next time. Bye.